Hello everyone, Tevin Townsend here. This is the Back to Nature blog, and today we are looking at the legal stipulations of immigrating to Costa Rica. Let's go ahead and get started. So here at the Back to Nature blog, we are speaking to people that are maybe moving on a whim. They don't necessarily have a business pretext for moving to a place. It's more so, as for an example with Costa Rica, I'd like to be closer to the tropics. I'd like to be closer to nature. I like the area of Costa Rica because it's beautiful. So we're speaking to people that are wanting to find the simplest ways or the most creative ways to get into countries like these without necessarily moving there for the economy or for other business reasons. If you are Canadian or American, you're very lucky in this case because you can skip the visa process. You don't need a visa to enter into Costa Rica. You do still need other documents, birth certificate, passport, so there's some things you do need to have that you do need to register. But for the most part, it's all a streamlined process. It's like going to a job interview without having first done the application. Isn't that nice? Except it does cost money to put gas in the car, and you do need some form of transportation to get there. So there's still some work you have to do. Let's get on to those of you that are not in Canada or America, and that's going to be a lot of people. The visa process would be mandatory, and here's how it works. And I will link you to the official immigration website. The official immigration website is all in Spanish, by the way. However, they have an immigration section which has all of the immigration law condensed into PDF documents, and that's what I use to research this, so I will link you to that here as well. They have a wide variety of visas, all kinds of classifications and categories. A visa is simply a legally recognized reason or occupation, a legally recognized reason for you being in a foreign country. Maybe you're there as a student studying, maybe you're there for construction, for religious reasons, and this is standard practice across most countries because they want to know what is your business in their country. If you're there as a drug dealer, it's not something they would legally recognize, and so they want to know exactly on paper what you're doing there. If you happen to have any special skills or any way to attach your expertise to any of these specialized visas, then by all means take advantage of it and let me know. However, without thinking about these highly specialized visas, what if you're just trying to get there and you don't really qualify for all that? None of that is relevant for you. So let's go ahead and jump into that. The main thing you would need to prove, and we're still talking about people that are not from Canada or America, when obtaining a visa is what's called financial solvency. That's simply proving that you have the means to sustain yourself economically. They wouldn't want you in their country if you couldn't take care of yourself. Most other countries are like that. Now, the interesting thing, and this is something I want to work on because I think this is one of the ways we can really make this Back to Nature blog and network work, and that's by helping each other out. Because suppose you couldn't prove financial solvency yourself, or what you were able to show was inadequate, because the government, as far as I could tell, doesn't specify what numbers they're looking for. They just say, we want X amount of months from your bank statements. We just want to know this, this, and this, and we'll let you know what our decision is. Suppose you don't have all kinds of money saved up, and you don't have a job confirmed, or you can't confirm that you will have employment or a means of income when you're in Costa Rica. Financial solvency can be proved through a third party. So suppose you are part of a family or a network, and you know someone in Costa Rica that is willing to vouch for you, that is willing to assume responsibility for you. They can prove financial solvency for you. And not only can you do that on an individual level, you can do that on an organizational level. That could be a religious organization or a business. So the larger this network is, the more help we have for everyone, and the more creative we can get to make all of this work. Next up is minors. So I'm sure there are a lot of people that do have children. That doesn't complicate the process at all. That will come under the exceptional visa. There are two main stipulations. The first is, if you are applying for a minor, you first have to be an approved applicant yourself in order for them to even approve the application for the minor. I don't have a minor, but if I were applying with a minor, my train of thought would be to send in both applications at the same time. I'm not sure that would be a problem. But suppose your application is rejected, well, then that automatically rejects the application of the minor. So that's just an FYI. The person representing the minor, the person responsible for the minor, applying on behalf of the minor, has to come first and has to be legally authorized. If you have a child that is the child of a spouse of yours that you have divorced from, it's not going to affect your immigration eligibility, but for the parent staying behind in your home country, they would not be granted all of the immigration rights and eligibilities that normally would apply under the Costa Rican immigration law. So towards the end here, to sum up what you need a clean criminal record. You'll find this in all the documents. So if you have, I'm guessing anything on your record, you're probably screwed. They don't specify if they're looking for misdemeanors or felonies, but yeah. Next up is birth certificate. That you have to have, from what I'm seeing, a passport, and again, you need a visa unless you're Canadian or American. What I did find impressive was that the turnaround time, I'm sure you guys want to know this, was 30 days for approving or possibly denying your application. That's really impressive when it comes to immigrating to other countries. A typical turnaround time can be 3 months, 6 months, a year. And the Costa Rican government is apparently on it, because they are actually, if you read the documents, legally obligating themselves to review and respond within a 30-day time frame. So I see no reason why they wouldn't honor that. So that's fast. The last bit of information here is the official place you're supposed to apply to or correspond with is the Consul of Costa Rica, but they do state that there are other official institutions that can legally correspond with you. One of them being the Costa Rican General Directorate of Immigration. And of course, there are other international embassies, maybe local to where you are. So you do have many ways to apply. They specified many times to apply in person, but I see no reason why you couldn't mail in an application. I didn't see anything saying you couldn't. It is possible to apply online, but that's limited to whether your country allows for applying through an electronic portal. So that's something you would have to look into yourself based on what country you're in. So there you have it, guys. I hope that was quick and easy for you. And again, all the links to everything mentioned will be in the article on my website. Have a great